All right, this is Chewie, and this is his Roadmap to Success video. And the guardian wanted me to come over here to primarily work on his separation anxiety. And I want to refer you first to the video above this one to see exactly how to go about that. But with the separation anxiety, you want to mostly focus on how he's doing and going in slow intervals, kind of the tortoise versus the hare, you know, slow and steady wins the race type of thing. Because we want to make sure that he's at the point where he is so comfortable that he's able to be very confident that you're going to come back, and that anxiety is not going to be the thing that triggers you to come back. His anxiety, not yours, just to be clear. And remember, because dogs think in very cause and effect ways. As the dog, his mindset, if he thinks I'm being anxious and that always gets people to come home, then we want to change that to being, if I'm calm, that's the new signal to make sure that people are coming home. So say you're practicing this and he starts to be anxious, like when you get to the door, and there's a, as you can see in the video above this one, you have a sliding glass door so you can see him. If he starts getting really ramped up, he's whining, jumping at the door, or pacing and moving really fast, the best thing to do is to just wait outside for a little bit until he calms down. And then you can come inside. Because again, we don't want him to start to think that jumping at the door and spinning around, pacing and racing around are the ways that you come back in. Because whatever behaviors he's doing when you open the door is what he thinks is kind of the key to getting you to open the door itself. So we want to make sure that he's pretty calm, and then that when you come inside, if he's still a little ramped up, you wait to pet him until he's nice and calm. Other things to notice, since you do have a glass door, so it'll be easier to see his behavior until you get the camera set up for him, you want to be looking for what his behavior looks like when you come back. So when you start going out of eyesight, if you can, when you come back and he looks calm, he's laying by the door, sitting by the door, or you end up catching him like still sleeping on the couch, anything like that, those are great indicators that you're completely on the right track and you're at a place to, you're at least at the right duration, and you're probably getting ready to move forward to that next duration. The other thing is, if he sees you and he's nice and calm, but then he ramps up that energy, it doesn't mean that you have to decrease the duration. You can stay at that duration for a little bit, but you just want to work on waiting to open the door until he calms back down. So a little bit of a distinction there. So the only thing I want you to worry about is if he's being too hyper while you're away. That's when you want to decrease the time that you're gone. Again, remember to kind of going back and forth between being gone for longer periods of time and then shorter periods of time, so that kind of intermittent, so he can't always predict how long you'll be gone, and sometimes it's really easy for him to handle. The other thing that we talked about today is how to help him being less reactive to sounds. So he barks when people knock on the door, and he barks when you know, someone comes through the door, things like that. So you can use little treats like this. These are our turkey trainers. We love them. They're really soft and they have a really strong odor, which makes dogs really excited. So what you want to do is be playing a noise like on your phone or on a computer, and start with it being barely audible, and give him a treat while he's hearing thunderstorm noises, firework noises, or you're lightly knocking on the door. So give him treats only when he's hearing the noise. As soon as you're done giving him treats, stop the noise too. Then slowly over time, make the noise louder and louder so he's able to eat treats, not bark, and be nice and calm. Then you can keep practicing the excitement level, like say having your daughter come over and run up and knock on the door while you're giving him treats. So he starts learning to stop barking when people knock on the door. He's not anxious about fireworks. And it's also, interestingly enough, kind of a health precaution, because a lot of dogs do actually get sick. They can get ear infections and all sorts of infections when they get kind of anxious from these types of fireworks around the 4th of July. So helping him now overcome that fear will be a great step to making sure he never comes down with any of those issues due to being nervous about fireworks. I want to remind you to be petting with a purpose. So remember that every time you pet him, you're rewarding his behavior. So if you can't say good boy when you go to pet him, it's not the appropriate time to pet him. Remember, petting is supposed to be good for him, like saying yes, good job, not soothing him or calming him down. The other thing is to ask him to sit before he does things. So sit before going through the door, and asking him to sit before you give him permission to get on the couch or anything like that. So sitting is his new way of saying like please and thank you, and asking for a polite permission to do other things. Lastly, I want to remind you that everything you do trains your dog, only sometimes you mean it.